I welcome everyone. This is the JupyterLab dev meeting, August 12th, Friday. I think we'll do short updates because I know some of us have been out of town, and review of what work is to come, and several people are giving presentations coming up too. But on the update, Darian, can you give us an update on the move to the mono repo?
Yeah, sure.
And what you've been doing?
Yeah, sure. So the port for the mono repo took all last week and basically Monday. And as of before we had our meeting on Tuesday, it was ready for people to test. And some issues have come in, but it's actually been fairly straightforward. There haven't been that many broken things, so that's positive. There's been a lot of places where we got rid of code. So the code base is actually smaller than before, which is always nice. And some issues that were blocked are not blocked anymore, so people can get back to work on them. But all in all, yeah, so the port went fine, and since then, I've been looking at some of the consequent issues that popped up and trying to really get everything coherent and standardized. So all of our plugins, for example, are imported in the same exact way. They all have the same pattern where they have an interface called ifoo, and they have a token also called ifoo because there's a quirk in TypeScript that allows you to have an interface and a token to have the same name, so that anyone who wants to import a plugin just says import ifoo and it just magically works. They don't have to know the difference. Nobody should ever import from foo/plugin. They should always import from just foo. Foo/plugin is only ever used by the index.js file that loads the plugin, but it's actually meant to be private. So yeah, just getting all the patterns in place so that it'll be less confusing for anyone who wants to write a plugin from scratch. And the other thing I want to ask for is for everyone to comment. I have some suggestions that I've made on how to try to rationalize our styles in CSS in the same way we have with the TypeScript. I just posted an issue in the group chat, basically writing up what I think our options are, what I think a path forward is. Chris and I have already been sort of debating some of it, but I welcome as much feedback as possible. Yeah, that's it.
Are you writing up those conventions in our style guide? Like importing from foo instead of plugin? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but yeah, that belongs in there. That's a good point. Yeah.
Can you remind me the number of the issues so that I can write it in the Hackpad?
It's 647.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
With all my windows, it's hard to switch and find things. Sorry.
Sure, yeah.
Thanks for taking notes from TS.
Yes, thank you. I see
Steve? Steve, any updates?
I was out last week visiting family, but as soon as I got back, I helped Darian carry the bucket over the finish line, get the mono repo done. Since then, knocking out issues that were blocked, specifically the 0.9 issue milestones that were blocked on mono repo. And I had made a list of things that we should do to improve the status of the repo after switching to mono repo. So I've been ticking through those as well, including things like the better handling of focus in the application, and having semantic meaning of what thing most recently had focus. I am presenting tomorrow. I'm here in Atlanta right now for Jupyter Day Atlanta, so looking forward to that. I'll be giving a workshop. Nick is hosting it. I'm co-hosting it on bring your own code, so people that want to write extensions. So that might include JupyterLab plugins, and then a half hour at the end of the day about the status and future of JupyterLab.
And release update?
I'm working right now, this is just a last little bit of focus handling on the notebook that I was ironing out on the plane right here. I'd like to get that in. And then the CSS issue that's open, where we've got a specificity issue where we're supposed to be hiding something that we're not. So if those two things go in, I think we're ready to release. And give it once.
Steve, I commented on that one.
I think at least, I don't know if we want to wait on that, like to get the best solution on that. I don't know. We could talk offline about that, Darian. But I don't think that should be a blocker in terms of the best way to handle that. In terms of getting the 0.2 release out. And
I don't think I'm going to finish widgets today. I don't think it should hold it up either.
I mean, let's get what we have out the door in people's hands, get feedback, and I guess we'll have to update the README to say that widgets are not available right now. We'll be returning shortly.
Yeah, it's a high priority item for me, but I'm not going to get it done today probably.
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to, as a goal for this afternoon, get the 0.2 release out. So one, I can use it as the basis of my talk, and to get some feedback on that.
Awesome. Updates from anyone else? I guess I don't have an update because I was also on a family trip and just got back.
So I don't know if it's my machine or because I'm using Chrome beta, but I pulled JupyterLab yesterday. I didn't have a long time to test, but there are many things on the UI that appears broken to me. Like the multiple selection is not working again. And I have some scrolling issue, like when I do Shift Enter, it doesn't scroll the window. I will investigate. It might be just my machine, but I'm wondering if we are starting to reach the point where, like, basically everything is working fine, but we start to have small interaction between different components. And should we try to have more browser-based testing, like a services that checks that some script that a user would run through still behave the same, not to basically surprise the user. Because like everything is fine, but it's just some small things that I expect as a user, not as a functional behavior, that slightly change.
I think it would be good to have some actual tests that do run in the browser like that. But also, I noticed that after we switched to monorepo, I had to do a git clean, and I had to basically completely rebuild the package, not just rebuild the JavaScript, before I got everything working, because I think it was just a big enough change. So you might try that, but yeah, if you find that they're persistent, please post them, because I don't think I've seen what you're talking about. So it would be good.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I thought that probably I have something cached somewhere, and I haven't had a chance to basically nuke everything and reinstall everything. That's why I'm saying that maybe it will be time, and it's probably my machine. Especially Chrome beta have some weird 8 caches in many other websites, so it's completely fine. Otherwise, I've been really happy to see some of the detail of the old notebook, like the Control-M shortcut and some small behavior that I'm used to because I've been using it for years that works on the new JupyterLab. And it's amazing how, like, it's something which is really tiny, but your muscle memory has a hard time getting used to that. And now it's just flawless. And thanks a lot.
Great.
Yeah, I guess.
Any other updates?
My one update is that I can introduce Vida, who's now who's been doing most of the work on the NBDime stuff. And so he can talk about what we've been doing with the Phosphor and JupyterLab stuff.
Should we do a round of introduction?
Sure, if you want, yeah.
So hi, I'm Matthias. I'm working from Berkeley.
I'm Jason. I work at Bloomberg in New York, and yeah, we're working on JupyterLab.
Hi, I'm Darian. I work at Continuum Analytics, and I work from London. And yeah, I work on JupyterLab.
I'm Steve. Also work at Continuum. I work out of Florida usually.
Sure. I guess it's me. Oh, sorry.
No, please, you.
All right. So hi, my name is Vida. I'm sitting in similar right across the hallway from Min. And I started in May, so I've been kind of tracking the JupyterLab repository, so I kind of know what you do a little bit. But yeah, nice to know where everybody's sitting.
Cool.
Welcome.
I'm Dan Allen at Brookhaven National Lab. We have been using Jupyter Hub since the bleeding edge beginnings, and we're keeping an eye on the repositories. And recently had Jason out last week to talk about ways that we could get more actively involved, and some of the ways that our use cases might inform the interfaces that we need in Jupyter.js services and other core parts of the repositories.
Yeah, no, Dan, you've already been talking about development and some of the things. In fact, you already wrote some things for JupyterLab. Vida, are you planning on working on development or using JupyterLab, or what's your interest in JupyterLab?
All of the above. Definitely all of the above. I think that we've, through some generous help from Min, gotten some home-baked solutions deployed here internally, but haven't been as coupled into the community as I'd like to be. So we're doing a lot of internal stuff here that I want to be doing more in collaboration with you.
Sure. And for me, so we're working on basically web-based merge tools now currently for getting merging of the notebooks. So currently I'm using basically faster widgets and stuff like that to build a UI with the code mirror thing in the bottom. So getting the integration there for maybe putting this as a plugin into JupyterLab and maybe having some more things, especially in terms of the editors, getting the editors to work and look at the same field as it does in JupyterLab would be nice.
Is this the NBDime stuff?
Sorry,
yes, this is
and it's working. Thanks so much. That's really awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're all very excited about that. That's going to win some people over who haven't been won over here yet.
And on that note, I just wanted to point out that next week I'm going to start in earnest figuring out how to get third-party extensions loaded. The first of which will be Jupyter.js widgets. NBDime would be another good candidate for an early adopter.
Great.
Did you figure out the Webpack runtime loading thing, Steve, that you were working on a long time ago?
Hopefully. I think we're, between conversations with Jason, Darian, and myself, I think we've got it pretty clear, maybe. I won't know until I actually fully make something concrete. And then Jupyter.js widgets would be the test bed for that.
Hey guys, I just buttoned in. I don't know if you knew we were here. It's Pete. How's it going? First time I got to join, time freeing up here. I'm over at Max Point now, like I announced last week, but I'm sitting here with Marius and Eric Dill, who I know Dan Allen will recognize. He was kind of shocked to see him.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit, it's Dan. I used to work with for the last 2.5 years.
So the world can't keep us apart, Eric.
Right. Yeah, we're hoping to come, weekly now or whenever time permits, and get more involved in helping out with, Jupyter in general, but also JupyterLab. So just wanted to say hi. I don't know if you saw us come in. We came in late, so sorry about that.
No problem. It's recorded. You can catch up after. Yeah, that reminds me of something. There are a couple of issues on the old notebooks that will probably be much easier to implement on the new one, and especially some people made PRs. do you think I can ping any of you, like for example, Jason or Steve or Darian on this issue to maybe encourage people to submit this proposal directly to JupyterLab, where it would be easier to implement? Or even decide if we make it on the whole notebook or if we make it only on JupyterLab.
It might help to have an actual policy to say where, you know, the notebook is more of in maintenance mode, where you want to make small improvements are fine, but if you want to add a feature, that should be geared toward JupyterLab.
Yeah, no, that's a general policy, but the question is, where does the feature start and where does the maintenance stop, right? Like someone basically asked to be able to dock the shortcut panel on the side because they can never remember and they want it permanently, which is not that hard, but is technically close to the new features. So close to new features, but it's probably much easier on JupyterLab because you already have all these side panels that can be docked and everything. And the person already made an effort to make a PR. It was a long time ago. It's my fault. I should have reviewed that earlier and made that clearer earlier. But it will be easy to post to JupyterLab, I think. And helping users do that can be a way to get people onboarded.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Agreed. I also need to update the instructions for making a plugin are now out of date as of switching over to the monorepo, so I need to update those. That's on my short list as well.
No worries, but you don't have objection of me pinging you?
No, by all means.
On some of these. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, and feel free to, you can even just open an issue on JupyterLab on a case-by-case basis if you feel like, oh, this is a major feature, let's try to punt this to JupyterLab, and you know, we can carry on the discussion on the issue. Great. Is there any other conversations that we should be having here? Anybody else with something to talk about?
One thing, but offline, once we start the recording.
So I think that's everything then. So welcome everybody. I think we have half of us as new people here and half of us as old timers. So this is a great threshold to cross. Welcome everyone, and we hope to see you next week or as often as you can come.
Thanks.
Thank you.